Alrighty guys, so I got everything out of the boxes here, and actually I might have to back the wagon up. I don't actually think I did an intro to this video yet, but basically I got the parts for the K321 14 horsepower for on this 432, and basically I'm building this motor here because the bore is better. So what I have is I have a new standard over piston. Believe it or not, the ring gap checks out and everything. It looks good. I have another, I believe it's a 10 under rod. I still have to fit all this stuff yet and check the clearance for sure. The only thing I did was check the rings so far. If all else fails with this connecting rod, excuse me, maybe not having the correct clearance of the crank and me not having money to have the crank turned. The other motor, the only thing wrong with it was it smoked. So I could take the crank and the connecting rod out and then put it in this motor. But I'm going to try just throwing a new connecting rod in it and a new piston and rings because the old piston was cracked. If I can find it and show it to you guys again. Let's see, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Cracked piston? Yes, cracked piston. Oh, there you go. So, that's why we're changing pistons. Otherwise I would probably just reuse the piston, but this thing was smoking so bad. Could have been something to do with the piston being cracked, or who knows. So basically I'm not going to do a step-by-step with this one. I am basically going to put the parts together. I'll bring you guys back in and out as I do it. And basically I will show you guys success or fail with this and see what I get. Now, am I going to mount this on the tractor tonight? No. Why not, Steve? Well, because if this motor does knock when I start it, I would have to take it all back off the tractor again and tear both motors completely apart. So, in theory, if it does knock, I'm saving myself, say 2, 3, 4 steps. Anyhow, if it does knock, it knocks, and I'll have to take it apart and change the cranks. That's all there is to it. And I will put the best motor I can together out of the two I have. And the other block and crank I will keep for a rainy day project. So, without further ado, let me get this stuff put together here, and we'll see what stuff starts acting like once I get everything together. So, here we go. Alrighty guys, I got the motor all back together here. I know I skipped a bunch of steps, but it turns over pretty good. There's only a little bit of assembly oil on the crankshaft in the journal down there, but turns nice enough. I think it'll be okay. I have the connecting rod hole towards the camshaft, like you're supposed to do. And everything seems like it's lining up good and everything's working. So all I can do at this point is bolt everything back together and just send it. See what happens. But I think I'm going to call it a wrap for tonight. It's about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So tomorrow night, well, not tomorrow night, tomorrow, I'll put the cylinder head on this motor. I'll find an oil pan gasket and put on it. And obviously put oil in it. Then I have to move the coil, the points. Actually, I probably have another set of points. I still need the point screws. Yeah, I'll just move the whole ignition setup back over here again. And that'll be enough to start it and see what it does. And see if it smokes, knocks, rocks. See if it's a happy motor or not. So, alright guys. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Did I take a video when I had the connecting rod and everything together on the bench? I don't know if I did or not, but I know I got some pictures, I think. So, anyhow, later guys. Won't be long there, 432. I got a deck almost fully assembled out of junk parts. Alright guys, got the motor all put together here the next morning. Got the oil pan on, I have oil in it. I'm just going to turn it over with the starter and see what it turns over like. If it gets stiff and locks up with just the starter. I know we have problems, but it seemed okay by hand. My battery cable situated. Other than the flywheel touching something, I don't know where. Might even been able to get stuff on it. Oh, okay. Apparently I bent the bottom of the shroud somewhere there somehow. Seems like it's turning over alright. Figure out why the shroud's touching her. I got to swap the ignition system over yet. Cylinder head on it. I got to swap over the carb and the fuel pump. Then what we'll do is I'll go stick it in the back part of the barn here with the door open, and we'll start it up and let it run for a little while and just see what it sounds like. I mean, it's got to be better than what we had. As long as it doesn't smoke, I'll be happy. If it smokes and knocks, then I'll have to do a complete teardown of the motor and pull the cranks off. Which I'm sure you guys have heard me say 50,000 times at this point. So, get some more work done and I'll be back. Alrighty guys, got it all put back together here. Going to wheel it outside here. I'm going to hook up a jump box to the coil, and I'll use the electric start cart battery to start it, and the racing fuel cell for the fuel system, and go for broke, see what happens. I know it's going to smoke for a little while. It burns off all the oil I managed to spill on the side of the cylinder and block. So I know when it gets warm it's going to smoke on the outside. As long as it starts up and it only smokes for like 5 minutes or something like that, I'll be happy. If it starts up and continues to smoke, I will not be happy. Because that's all I want to be fixed is the smoking part. I'd like for it not to knock too, but that'll be a bonus. So I'm out of oil basically, so if this motor doesn't work, I will minimum have to go to town and get another 5-gallon bucket of oil, which I might do. Anyhow, it's nice to have oil, and I have used up that whole 5-gallon bucket since October or September, something like that. Give you an idea of how much oil I go through around here. So, anyhow, let me get this thing outside, try and crank her up, see what happens. Alrighty guys, so we're going to set up the final touches here to my setup, which is the spark. And we should be ready to try and start it. It shouldn't start right up because I know there's no fuel on the fuel pump or nothing, so gonna have to crank on it here a bit. It is kind of a cold, windy, dreary day. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain in the background or not, but still we're gonna Alright, crank this baby up and see what happens here. I don't want it wide open. Do a touch above idle. What should be idle, anyhow. I do have a conglomeration of cables and stuff going on, so. I have no idea if it's getting any fuel or if it's even got spark, honestly. It should, but I'm gonna go get a little bit of fuel and dump in the carb. Make sure we got spark. Kind of the motor's angled the wrong way too. I know should get a little bit of gas if you crank it now. There we go. Addicted. Okay, definitely got spark anyhow. Bit of mouse nest out. It does run. Not smoking either, come to think of it. Alright. Try and pull this motor up so it won't walk out of here. Hopefully you guys still in the frame. My heater just ran out of fuel, by the way. Anybody cares? Good way to start a fire. Good with it. That's all I got. I don't know why it keeps randomly stalling, but could be this carb. I know the throttle shaft bushings are a little bit worn out. not getting good fuel flow. That's weird. Oh! Nope. Ground fell off for the coil. Not smoking too bad though. Just starting to get the cylinder a little bit warm. Yeah, it's not getting enough fuel, so I'm guessing that fuel pump isn't too good. I'm guessing. That's weird because it ran decent on the other motor. Right? Right. Basically no smoke, so fix that. No smoke. Still got bad fuel flow. Nice. Hardly smoking at all. Very good. Huh? Good enough for me. So it's been sitting here running for every bit I'd bet a half an hour. So pretty happy with it except for the fuel issue it's got going on. See, right now it's got fuel in the bowl. You can rev it up and stuff, but it'll die out. So I gotta say it's a fuel pump problem. I could be wrong, but I'll have to try gravity feeding it on the tractor once to see what it does. But it's as good a time as any for me, so I'll call that a very successful test run. I haven't had one of those in a while. Normally they about blow up. So it's about lunchtime, so I'm going to take that back in the shop, try to pick it up without burning myself. You guys know it's very hard to do sometimes, so I'm going to do that. And I guess after lunch we'll be sticking this baby on the tractor. Maybe we can actually drive the 432 more than 4 feet. It'll be worth a starter solenoid and blah 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 blah. So later, guys. I gotta find a starter solenoid. I think the 129 Cub has one, or there's one on the 64L in the tank garage. I'll go swipe. So later, guys.